Hello, Bob. I'm back with more books and drinks. Free drinks for the day because it's toasty out. Let's get to the books. The first of these are free books from John King. Since I spent quite a bit of money there today, I like to go to the front part and get some free books too. Obviously, this is for the jacket, the Mylar jacket. I will dissect it later. Marjorie Holmes, The Messiah. This one's a no-brainer because Wilkie Collins is fucking brilliant. And even though the book is trash, it's got library cards from Romulus, Michigan, My Chicken. Romulus Senior High School. And that's close by. So it's local history and Wilkie Collins in the same breath. Obviously the book is tarshed. Rosanna's story. The Moonstone. Can't remember if I read The Moonstone. I believe I have, but I don't know. Probably fix this up. Take off this trashed Mylar and make it better. Did notice that John King now has a 5-minute limit in the browsing area, but after I spent multiple hundreds, I figured I could have stayed longer. No one would have said a goddamn thing to me. The Cleft Rock by Alice Tisdale Hobart. Property of the U.S. Army. Percy Jones Army Hospital. Property of Romulus High School Library. I believe the Percy Jones was out where Grand Rapids or something. Maybe I'm wrong. Yours is from 48. Other pocket. More books. Library books. Can't see shit. Don't recognize any names, which makes sense because I'm not from Romulus. Does it even say what year it is? No. Percy Jones, Army Library. Alright, there's that. John Wesley, Christian Hero. This is from Northville, some church, Detroit something church. Detroit. I don't know what it says. Detroit Street? Perhaps. 1923. Apparently John Wesley is not worth shit in the grand scheme of book selling. Shiloh Christian Bookstore, Dearborn Heights. Detroit First Church of the Nazarene, 21260 Haggerty Road. This book has been approved by the Library Committee for circulation. It's circulating in my library. These next two books are ditto for the Detroit First Church of the Nazarene again. But like I said, I'm taking these Mylar jackets. This one's not very good, but is this Lisa Welchel from what's that, Facts of Life? Sure enough. She was hot back in the day. She may still be. I've not seen her. So wait, her and Kirk Cameron were both. Assuming this is churchy. Nice to know. one more book from that. The freebies. Kennedy by Theodore Sorensen, special counsel to the late president. It was free, so I couldn't leave it. I got a Kennedy collection. Robert Croker, Mount Clemens. Of course, King goes through every book because they know there's ephemera inside them. So why wouldn't they? See, the lighting in here is awful. All right, these next 5 are 10 cent. I can't speak. 10-cent books. This one I obviously got for the Mylar jacket. Fortress of Solitude by Jonathan Lethem. The Dearborn Library. Fucking glare. Alright, that's that. Another Kennedy book. Question of Character. Not in great shape, but for 10 cents, can't beat it. Founding Brevas. I think I have this book, but now I have 2 copies of it if I had one before. 10 cents. As I said, can't beat it. Patrick McManus, Real Ponies Don't Go Oink. Never understood the humor of this guy, but some people tend to like him. And if you sell him enough of his books in a book lot, people will pay $15-$20 for them. So that's what I'll do when I get enough of those, and I probably have close to enough of them. Lincoln the Unknown. Maybe I'll just move my arm over here into the light. Lincoln the Unknown. I've sold this book 50 times for $20+. I don't know if it's worth that much anymore. Probably $10 to $15 range. Obviously a reprint of the 59 edition, and everybody in the little class, I guess, and they still have these classes since this is a newer edition. Anybody in the Dale Carnegie class, like a cult, signs the books. It's a tradition. And I just dropped it. Let's go to the real books that I bought today. Robert Heinlein, Stranger in a Strange Land. The original uncut, which I plan to sell, $10 to $15 range, which sounds like a lot for a 50-cent book, but when you factor in the fact it's going to cost me $5 to ship, plus eBay will charge me a fee, that's probably $6-7. So if I make 12, I only make 5, so 50 cents for $5. 10 times the return, a little bit of effort not going to kill me. Can't say I really am into sci-fi, because I'm not. Although, I do like sci-fi and the Twilight Zone tradition, but this ain't it. Maybe it is. I don't fucking know. 100 Wicked Little Witch Stories. Obviously a Barnes & Noble book. Originally $5, now 50 cents. I always get these Barnes & Noble books, as you will know if you've watched more than 5 videos. V-I-J-O, videos. 1995. Joe R. Lansdale, James Dorr, Ramsey Campbell, Carl Jacobi, Stephen Mark Rainey, Burning in the Light, Julian Brantingham, page 46. Let's see what this lady has to say. All the way home from the hospital. I kept thinking, he won't be there. I've lost him. I've lost everything that matters. When the cab stopped, I turned too quickly, looking for him, and was overcome by dizziness. The rods of the fence, an army of spears, broke ranks and milled about. The porch was a ship that had come loose from its moorings, looming over me. My heart was pounding. Then Paul was there, though I was too dizzy to see him. Why are you crying? I wiped away the tears, smiling, relieved. I'm not. I'm just dizzy. Getting out of the cab was difficult. My body was unresponsive, quick to kindle into pain. I couldn't have made it up the steps if the driver hadn't helped me. Where had Paul gone? As I fumbled my key into the lock, I remembered this was Marlene's day off. In the living room, I eased into a chair with a sigh of relief. I tried to touch the wounds near my eyes, but my hand flinched away before completing the gesture. Where was Paul? Wasn't he glad to have me back? The living room was dim, in the shadows near the fireplace. In the alcove by the bay window, I heard him whisper. I couldn't make out what he was saying. Then Marlene was there, her iron gray hair pulled back in a knot, her house dress so stiff with starch it crackled. I had a feeling you'd be home today. I've got your bed turned down. Everything just the way you like it. When I got up, leaning on her arm, the whispering started again. Fast, urgent. I took a breath, pushed the pain away. Wait, something I have to do in the studio. You're worn out, child. Come and rest now. When she used that tone, I couldn't argue. Actually, don't sound too bad. First paragraph is pretty good. But they'll drag it out. I need a drink. We'll try the lemonade with seltzer water. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the classic science fiction novel by Jack Finney, author of Time and Again. I've never heard of this book. I always knew it was a movie, but I don't know if the movie was based on this. I don't know. I literally know nothing of this book. Short version of this work originally appeared in Carlier's magazine in 1954. An expanded edition was first published by Dell in 1955 under the title The Body Snatchers. This is a revised and updated edition. I don't know when the Invasion of the Body Snatchers came out, but like I said, I've never seen this book one time. Not that it's worth money, but you never know. Might be. I warn you that what you're starting to read is full of loose ends and unanswered questions. Now, if you don't like that kind of story, I'm sorry, and you better not read it. Don't worry. I will not. Alien Obsession. And when you see the special value $2.97 book, you think, maybe I shouldn't buy this. And then you find the Red Wings ticket from 2001, Game 9, October 18th, 2001. $51 back then. My God, how much are they now? What year is this book from? 1998, Alien Obsession. Did I say Alien Invasion before? Oh, this is a Jesus and Aliens book. Delving into the mystery, best-selling author Ron Rhodes investigates UFO sightings and alien visitations, from the alleged government cover-up in Roswell, New Mexico, to experimental aircraft and unexplained phenomena. Alien Obsession. Another book for the aliens. The New Left Review. And I see these sort of books on occasion. I don't know if some old hippies reading through their old periodicals. See some of the titles: Why Bush Went to War, Technology and Armed Forces, Rust in Wormwood, Socialism After the Crash, Feminism in the Future. Anyway, assuming that they will shut down society soon and put us into gulags, there's always these books to look back and see the warnings they were giving us when we did not listen, that they were communists and they want your soul packed into a capsule that they can use as Selma to enslave you with your consent. because you love to be tortured. Why else would you be promoting such griftwood proven death? It's a nice dunkel. Not a nice one, but a decent one. Drinkable one. I don't like Mad Magazine. In fact, I hate it, but I looked up the book because I was contemplating the 13th book that I would get at the Canton location, and this one was in the $10 to $15 range. Of course, should have cost $5 or $6 to ship, but I mean, $5 here, $5 there. I will sell it. Get more seed money. This book I got at the Plymouth Library. With my 10-cent books, I was looking for a 50-center, so I would have $1 worth. And I had some other book. Was it Elaine Pagels? One of those biblical prophecy kind of deals. From a more, I think she's more of a scientific, biblical writer. Anyway, then I saw this book, Traditional Magic, Fantasy, and Fairy Tale Design by Larry McDougall. I'm guessing it's drawings, or maybe it's just art. There you go. The fairy boobs you were dreaming. Jesus Christ, I didn't know the fairies were all into nudity. In fact, I've never seen a nude fairy before. Well, I've never seen a fucking fairy to begin with. I was not into fantasy as a child. I did not know about it. I would find it later as a teenager, but as a boy, we played War. Yeah, and then you turned into a weirdo and started drawing naked dwarfs and shit. What the fuck, dude? Look at this creepy shit. See, this ain't bad. But why are you drawing naked fairies? I understand fairies probably didn't have fucking time to make clothes or visit the cobbler or the tailor, but I mean, goddamn, put something on. This is fantasy. The Wildwood Witch watercolor. That's your witch. Man, these are okay. I don't know. I thought that was a crow of some sorts. She's hot goth. Hot and goth. It's kitten. Alright. I think you get the idea of witches. Look at this crazy psycho with a bird. I guess cool book. I don't like the naked fairies. Not that I'm against nudity, but nudity in cartoons creeps me out. It's like a fucking pedophile's dream. Mango green tea. There's the book that I couldn't find yesterday, The Middletown Pacemakers, the story of an Ohio hot rod club. Book's probably worth $15 to $20. I paid 59 cents. I don't really give a shit about Ohio, but if Ohio gives me $11 or $12, that will suffice to pay for half of me books. Today? No, I don't think I paid that much for my free books. For my John King books, I paid a shitload. You're not looking at Genghis Khan yet? I guess you will. Why not? Genghis Khan, Emperor of all men. Harold Lamb. As I've spoken to before, I like mass market paperbacks. This one's from 57. Originally published in 27. This is a third Bantam printing. First published by McBride and Company. Can't say I know much about Genghis Khan or James Khan or convicts, but I now have this book, Bantam, the Bantam of the Opera. Britwit, the perfect riposte for every social occasion by Susie Jones. On a global scale, British mountains are pathetic. Snowdon and Ben Nevis being roughly the same height as the speed humps they install on Swiss roads to slow down traffic. That's hilarious. Kent said, everybody knows Kent. Apples, cherries, hops, and women. By Charles Dickens. Britain is too small if you have a high-powered car to drive around in it like it's a roundabout. When two Englishmen meet, their first talk is of the weather. The English never draw a line without blurring it. These are fucking witty. I think Friedrich Nietzsche said it properly. He goes, the only thing more boring than an Englishman is two. Maybe it wasn't Nietzsche that said that. I believe it was. Him or E. Cummings, one of the two. Let's see, one more. It was very good of God to let Carlyle and Mrs. Carlyle marry one another, and so make only two people miserable instead of four. That's great. I take it those two were wretched folk. The dread of loneliness is greater than the fear of bondage, so we get married. Marriage is at best a dangerous experiment. Here lies my wife. Here let her lie. Now she's at rest, and so am I. That's really nice, Johnny Dryden. This book. And the lady looked at me like I was insane at the cash register when I told her I had 12 books. But I was like, charge me for 13. Because I realized once I got in line, well, after I'd been in line, that I only had 12 books and I have to buy 13. Superstition. So I had 10 books that I put back because I only get 13 no matter what. And even though this book, I don't really give a shit about the Eiffel Tower, or it's just the Tower of Pisa. Alright, I was close. Anyways, you can see how it's shaped. It's shaped like a diamond. You can really see it when you open it. I mean, this is a fucking very poor idea, but I mean, I understand the passion. 2003, Nick Schrady. Don't know much about the Leaning Tower of Pisa, but if I ever get bored during the apocalypse and I've read through 4,300 tomes, I will read this. I will read it. Let's put it over there. What shall we have? Some more water. Seltzer water and grapefruit ain't exactly a treasure. Oh no. But it's better than nothing. This book, as you can see, is going to be another Mylar jacket. Jackety one. I think this was part of the 10-cent ones too. No, I got this at the thrift store. This was 50 cents. Sorcery in Sicilia, the Enchanted Chocolate Pot. I don't see the pot. I assume that's it. So yeah, Henry Sibley High School. Mendota Heights, Minnesota. Never heard of it. The Lost Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, based on the original radio plays. by Dennis Green and Anthony Boucher. Written by Ken Greenwald. Radio broadcasts of the Sherlock Holmes stories were first aired in the 1940s. The avid and occasional Holmes readers were all thrilled. Although the early radio scripts were based on the Conan Doyle stories, they often dealt with questions unanswered by the original stories. Recently, 221A Baker Street Associates found an entire season of long-lost Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce radio broadcasts. Here were the answers to many of the questions only hinted at in the original stories. How and when did Sherlock Holmes meet Professor Moriarty? When did Sherlock Holmes buy his Sussex bee farm? What? He owns a bee farm? No, I may have to get into him. The Hive has willed me to collect Sherlock Holmes against my own will. 1993. Barnes and Noble, but of course it is. Of course. What we got now? The Nazi and the Psychiatrist. Hermann Göring, Dr. Douglas Kelly, M. Kelly, and the fatal meeting of minds at the end of World War II. At least I'll take off the jacket. Probably keep it. I don't really care about the Nazis. More hideous socialists that they'll call fascists. Right-winger fascists, even though their entire fucking platform was National Socialism. But the pundits and half-wits at large call them right-wingers because they're nationalists. Yeah. They are. But are they? No. The socialists that hot, and they were statists that hot, and they were collectivists that hot. And no part of that is what they term right-wingers. Since the right wing is basically limited government and far left is anarchy, which, I mean, they call it lawlessness or lack of authority, but that's because they, what's that word? They put all of it into the basket of the state. So there's basically no laws, but the law is everything. They will disclaim that, but I mean, that's what it is. I don't know if Terry Pratchett Discworld hardcovers are worth a goddamn, but I got it because I assume they are. Never understood these little fucking dwarves and devil kind of fucking dwarves and fairy kind of novels. But, I mean, I guess somebody, I mean, look at this shit. It's like fucking Jabba the Hutt on a train. Crash that fucking train, Mr. President. I don't know who does this with these fucking block stickers, but they can go fuck themselves. So yeah, that's that. And the next two books I will put into another edition because I probably will talk at length about them because I'm a ponderous motherfucker. Do you understand me? Alright, bruv.